Welcome everybody to the October 26th meeting of the Carpinteria Unified School District. Can we please rise for the flag salute? Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can you please be seated? All right, can we get a roll call, Andy?
Aaron.
Here.
Jamie.
Here.
Sally.
Here.
Jamie.
Aye. Here. Also aye. Great, we'll start with our closed session items. Item C2A, the board unanimously voted 5-0 and adopted the district's recommended dismissal charges and have dismissed employee number 1200 from CUSD employment. Item C2B, the board on a 5-0 vote move that case number 1718006 shall have his records expunged of any reference to expulsion in each matter. Item C3 is the approval of minutes from the October 12th meeting. May I please get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item C4 is the approval of the agenda and consent agenda for tonight's meeting. May I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve. Second.
And this is roll call.
Aaron.
Aye.
Jamie.
Aye.
Sally.
Aye.
Jamie.
Aye.
I'm aye.
Great. Item E1, we have no student representative tonight.
I have her
you're gonna read her report?
information.
Okay, great.
Yes. Natalia is playing in the CIF playoffs in tennis.
Excellent.
So hopefully she's winning right now.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay. Go Natalia. Go Warriors. Okay, this is her information. Carpinteria High School is finishing the second grading period this Friday, with grades going out next week. The after-school tutoring has started with Cal Soap tutors from 3 to 5 every day except Friday in the library. Besides the tutoring in the library, teachers are working the students after school to support students during the end of the grading period. And now the library is open daily from noon until 6 p.m. for student tutoring. This week is National Red Ribbon Week, and ASB is organizing events during the week. On Monday, it's Follow Your Dreams, so it's Pajama Day. Tuesday is Team Up Against Drugs, Twin Day. Wednesday, Your Future is Too Bright, Neon Day. Thursday, Proud to be Drug-Free, Wear Red Day. And Friday, Say Boo to Drugs, Costume Day. Finally, the fall sports are coming to an end, and winter sports are actively recruiting for their teams.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll move straight on to item E2, our superintendent report.
Thank you. So I'd like to begin with appreciation, and I'd like to recognize the CUSD's operations team led by Assistant Superintendent Maureen Fitzgerald, who's here tonight, for their outstanding work in supporting our schools. We have Jim Pettit, who's the maintenance supervisor, Michael Littlejohn, the warehouse and transportation supervisor, Jennifer Rind, who's purchasing, Nancy Morales is our district accountant, Michelle Hernandez is the food services coordinator, and Miguel Baez, Janessa Lopez, and Jay Sullivan are on the Measure U team. The next item is enrollment history, and for the first time in a few years, we are increasing our enrollment. So we went from 2074 to 2088. Small, but an increase, and it was mostly at the high school. Care Solace. CUSD has partnered with Care Solace to make it easier for families and students to connect with mental health care resources and providers in our community. Our goal is to ensure that the school community has access to reliable, ethical, and high-quality mental health care services, regardless of income, and especially during these most challenging times. This web-based care navigation system enables fast, easy, and convenient connection of students and families in need of mental health care to qualified providers and resources. Care concierge experts are available 24/7 to help families through the process of accessing community-based mental health programs and resources or telehealth services. And you can receive more information by logging on to our website. We have congratulations in order to Christina Pena Eckert at the middle school and Sonia Aguila Gonzalez at Canalino. Both teachers will be recognized at SBCEO's A Salute to Teachers celebration on November 6th. Christina as the Distinguished New Educator, and Sonia as one of the Teacher of the Year finalists. So we're CUSD proud. The next item is related to social emotional learning. AHA, CUSD has partnered with AHA to provide an extensive social emotional learning curriculum for CHS and CMS students. AHA offers Get Focused, Stay Focused in the freshman program at CHS and Connect to Thrive program at CMS. How to Be a Hero in the 21st Century Assemblies at both schools, After School Peace Builders at both schools, and the CUSD Bilingual Parent Ed Series, CMS Teacher Workshops on Social Emotional Learning, and CUSD Teacher Workshops on Building Social Emotional Learning Skills in Students and Trauma-Sensitive Classrooms. The next item is related to after-school tutoring, both at the middle school and high school. We have 9 CMS teachers that are providing after-school tutoring for 1 hour, 3 days per week for CMS students with Ds and Fs. At CHS, Principal Corneo and counselors are meeting with parents of failing students to discuss intervention plans, including mandated after-school tutoring 3 times a week with 4 CHS teachers and CalSOAP tutors. At the elementary schools, we offer elementary reading intervention. Canalino and Carpinteria Family School are fortunate to have 2 reading intervention teachers. Stephanie Acuna is a full-time employee, and she provides reading intervention to 23 students in 1st through 3rd grade, 5 days a week in 20-minute sessions. Stephanie uses the SIPS reading program with her students, which is an explicit, systematic intervention program that includes phonemic awareness, phonics, blending, and comprehension. Lisa Nakasone works a 50% contract and provides twice-weekly intervention with 25 students in the dual language immersion program. Lisa uses the Read Naturally program in Spanish to instruct in fluency and comprehension. Both teachers have a shared document with teachers and the student study team on the students' weekly data collection regarding their progress. Daily reading intervention is also part of the instructional support services offered at Aliso and Summerlin. Children in grades 1 through 3 were assessed and placed within different levels of the SIPS program as well. Children in 1st grade receive 5 days of reading intervention, 30 minutes a day, and 2nd and 3rd grade receive 30 minutes a day, 4 times a week. Our credentialed reading intervention teacher, Mrs. Valerie Ropoletto, uses SIPS, also a research-based foundational skills program, proven to help both new and struggling readers, including English language learners and students identified with dyslexia. Children receive instruction that is systematic in phonological awareness, phonics, and sight words. Currently, the Aliso Reading Intervention Program is providing services to 31 children. With continuous progress monitoring, children enter and exit their small groups based on their assessment results. The next item relates to the 21-22 school budget. We've received the Santa Barbara County 21-22 property tax projections, which are less than what we projected by $137,555. While we've not received the J29 tax report from the county, it is likely this revenue will not change much. Upon inquiry with the Santa Barbara County, property tax projections are also based on the California Price Index and other factors, rather than just the actual assessed taxes in our district area.
Is that the California Price Index or Consumer Price Index?
It says California Price Index. Measure U update. The CHS administration building cement footings and foundation pour concluded Friday, October 8th, making the way to begin framing, and framing started last week, and the project is progressing on time. Gerardo and the Measure U team will finalize the interior colors and finishes this week for the admin building. And Summerlin school demolition began the week of October 4th. As you can see, it moved rapidly, demolishing the entire campus. I have some Summerlin residents that are reporting to me that one day Summerlin School was there and the next day it was not. Site work will begin next week. So I think everyone is clear that we are rebuilding Summerlin School.
We're not.
They're clear that you tore it down.
Okay, well.
All right, we'll move on to item E3. This is the 2021-2022 Superintendent Evaluation and Annual Goals. This is our second reading. Do you have another presentation tonight, or is it similar as last time?
It is the same
Okay.
information, yes.
All right, I'll get a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Second?
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Monica, do we have any public comment for non-agenda items? Not tonight, okay. All right, we'll move on to item F1, Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 6164.4, identification and evaluation of individuals for special education. This is the first reading. May I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item F2, Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 6164.5, Student Success Teams. First reading. May I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item G1 is our warrants. The board's being asked to approve the warrants for the period of October 8th, 2021 through October 21st, 2021 in the amount of $818,113.96. May I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
A second?
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item G2A is a donation from the Rotary Club of Carpinteria to Carpinteria Unified School District Music Program. The board is asked to accept the donation from Rotary Club of Carpinteria of 11 student subscriptions to SiteTreadingFactory.com, valued at $35 each, to Carpinteria Unified School District Music Program. May I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve with thanks to the Rotary Club.
And a second?
I'll second
Okay, all those in favor?
that.
Aye.
All right, right on to item G3 is a 21-22 October budget update. Do you have a presentation, Maureen?
I do. A quick one.
All right.
Okay, so as Diana reported in her superintendent's report, our property taxes have changed based on the Santa Barbara County projection. I'll elaborate a little bit more on the next slide about the response I got from the county. But in the box on the left, it shows what was projected at the adopted budget. We haven't changed the budget since the adopted budget. And we were projecting about 1.2 million of an increase, 5.33% over prior year. And what is coming in as the October estimate from Santa Barbara County is just under 1.2, 1.19 and a 5.09%. Right, I'm on the wrong line, sorry. Just below, so the 2021 in the blue on the left was the projected year-end closing. And that was at 1.245. The year closed just under that at 1.19. The 21-22 at adopted was an increase of 1.288, and we are projecting now just under that about 1.204, 205, and that is about a 4.9 overall. So it's a decrease of 137,555. That rebenches every future year projection. So I have adjusted the future years from what we've averaged at about 5.2 to a 4.67 for future years past this current. And I'll go into, so you can see in the bottom box how it compounds the reduction over the next 2 years beyond the current. So I'm not going to read this, but the gist of what I was told at the county and their response, and I'm like, isn't this been like the most epic real estate year? Like, where's the money? It's not, we don't get our actual property taxes. We get what the county decides to send back to us. CPI is taken into consideration. They cited Prop 13, Prop 60. Some families passed their Prop 13 to children. I don't know that that's a big case here in Carpinteria. However, there's nothing that we can really do to dispute that. And they're saying it's based on the California CPI, so it is the Consumer Price Index, but the California specific CPI, as well as construction, type of transfers, corrections, impounds. Those are all usually one-time adjustments, not built into what they pass through. So,
But I have a question.
Sure.
What happens when the amount of the actual collected property tax revenues is greater than the projection? Do we get the delta?
no, so we're what they call a teeter district.
A what?
It's called a teeter, T-E-E-T-E-R district, or teeter county. And what that means is that our county gives us these projections in October, and they don't stray from that number. What will change slightly are prior year adjustments and non-secure taxes. But the secure taxes don't change much at all, but maybe for a couple $100. If
Who
we,
gets the money? Like, so
it goes straight to the county. So
it benefits them to underestimate taxes.
sure it does. Sure it does. And that was basically their argument to me. Well, you're getting more than anyone in the county.
So the county
On a percentage
the
basis.
county who has a budget problem themselves, actually severe budget problem, and Carpinteria has a higher escalation in property values than most of the rest of the county, and the county's telling us that our property tax revenue projections are lower than we all reasonably think they are, and they get to keep the underestimated value, or the delta between the underestimated value and the actual revenue.
So,
That
yes.
seems
so-
ripe for corruption to me.
I'm not going to say that, but I will say that the rest of the basic aid or community funded districts are also not happy, because the answer I got was, well, you're getting more than anybody else.
I wish
On a-
I had known this on Saturday when I was talking to our supervisor.
Well, I'm just gonna I'm gonna stay away from that. But I will tell you that I have been fighting this question since I came into the district, both with the county assessor and with our county education office, because when we do get our J29, probably the end of middle end of November, they're usually lagging. It's not going to change much. But whenever they do change it, I'm like, but why is it different from the county assessor? And they're like, I don't know. No one answers any questions. You're right, Andy. It just smells foul. However, I will also argue that in a year we collected less than estimated, they don't take any from us. So, you know, when the rest of the country during the recession was seeing these huge negative returns and properties were defaulting, and we didn't see that happen with us.
But we weren't seeing those defaults or negative returns.
True, but they didn't take money away from their estimate when it didn't materialize. And then when we do collect additional impounds from prior year, we do see some of that money, which you've seen kind of fluctuate in the prior year monies that come in at year end.
Is there any way to appeal this?
No.
None.
So I find it interesting that one of the things that was in the warrants was our property taxes for the school
Oh, we pay
district,
them.
which we pay, but that doesn't come necessarily to back to our school district.
No.
It goes out
So-
into the ether,
So
basically.
they take the taxes in our district and all of those assessments, and then they do other stuff with them and give back what is left. Like, they factor in all of these things, and then they move on to us by some formula that they have that they won't share what our share is, because we've had a couple of huge properties sell,
Yeah,
millions of dollars and we're like, it's negative?
yeah.
Like, I spent 2 weeks trying to wait, explain it to me again. I'm not quite understanding. Maybe I'm just not, simple that way. There really is nothing that we can do.
So that still doesn't make sense. So if they're off by I could easily see them being off by a fairly large number this year, considering the amount of turnover we've had real estate wise in Carpinteria and Summerlin, and the scale of some of the sales that have occurred. So if they're off by $1 million, they keep that money.
Okay, they're not saying that. They're not going to say they keep it or they don't. They give me this again and again.
But at some point there's a reckoning. There's an audit of the numbers, and there's an actual revenue collected based on assessed valuation and normal escalation in property taxes, and there's the value that they've allocated to us as a school district, because all the school districts in the everybody's funded by property taxes. So are they shorting the state when they underestimate the value of the increase?
Well, I think the city, I think the city of Carpinteria has also seen a decline in their taxes coming into the city. I will tell you, the rest of the states.
But that's not based on very little of that
Well,
is property tax.
The rest of the states in the rest of the districts in the state are paid through LCFF,
Yeah.
which takes the total calculation less property tax. So the districts don't see any, they don't care. It's the
No, I know the LCFF districts don't care, but the state would, because the state is dependent on those revenues in order to fund that LCFF district, because they just allocate, they amortize it over the whole state.
because not all districts, there's very few, there's maybe 3 or 4 statewide counties that are teeter. The property tax the property taxes that are reported are actual assessed taxes. That's not our case. So I will tell you that
Makes us,
So how do we
what
get-
makes
how
the
can we
county a
get
teeter
we
versus-
can't do anything.
Reclassified.
We don't get reclassified. The county it is up to the county supervisors to, I don't know if it's this has probably been going on for 40 years or more. That's my guess. So they probably don't even know how it happened. This has been in place for decades. And some are, my guess is it's probably some arcane formula that they continue to use. And we can write letters saying we disagree. I've replied to everyone I know to reply to at the county that I disagree.
Well, their response to you, whereas, well, you're getting more money than anybody else, therefore you should be happy, tells me that they're underestimating, and they know they're underestimating.
Well,
and
my
that they're
yeah.
keeping the extra money.
Yeah, so my argument to them was, I have given you a 14-year look back, and year over year, we have, other than the recession, which was about 3 or 4 years that we saw under 4%, year over year, we have very rarely gone past 5, 6, and sometimes 8% increase year over year at actuals. And you're telling me now we're at 4.03? I don't get it.
Well, it doesn't jibe to
Doesn't jive.
to common sense right
No.
now.
So one of two things may happen.
Should we all write letters? I mean, is that going to be helpful?
I'm not sure what even to say in the letter other than it doesn't make sense.
Well, I think as a Carpinteria resident and a property taxpayer, I assume my property taxes go to my school district. And so I think it's important that the residents, that the people that pay taxes in the district zone know that, because I don't think they do. And it's an assumption that we've all made because that's what we've been told, in a sense, or it's been implied. And I think people would be pretty upset if they found out that it's actually just going into a big pot getting shaken up and, oh, here you go, be grateful for this.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know how much ability they have at the county auditor controller's office to disseminate the data to the extent that we are wanting it to be seen. Because I'm sure,
They certainly do it when your tax bill's late.
yeah,
I mean,
certainly they do.
Or if you question the tax bill and you ask for an explanation, they have that stuff like that,
Well, I also found it
they-
interesting in the pandemic year in
and they don't
20.
do anything the rest of the year.
Right.
I mean, they're just sitting there and they're really busy 2 times a year when the tax revenues come in.
I do think it's interesting during the pandemic year, we didn't see a loss of property taxes.
Yeah.
We anticipated that could have gone a lot of different ways. This is the 21-22 tax year, and in my gut, I think they're underestimating because I think they're being cautious. I'm going to hold out, maybe being too negative until I see what comes in the J29 and maybe at P2, which comes in the spring, which has a better pulse on what we'll see at year end. And that's not going to be until the end of April.
Well,
It strikes me that it might be a time to educate all of us, as well as the community,
you know, I used to have the
about the
county
process.
have them come
Yeah.
down here.
Invite, I think
I could
maybe
do
we
that.
should invite the person, or, the department head who's in charge of it, to educate all of us about how it works. And then we can ask them questions.
Yeah.
Because it sounds to me like there's a lot of information we don't know and we're interested
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So let's bring the people who know
That's great.
To
Yep,
the,
I will reach out.
to the board meeting.
Thank
and
you.
then-
Yeah,
Then we
that'd
can
be-
answer
that'd
our
be great.
questions.
Thank you for
Yeah.
moving that along.
Okay. So for us, this is awfully small, I understand. So what that means to us is a loss of revenue of $137,000. And then what we do this time of year, because we have all of our staffing in place, we load all of the actual hires and those that are gone off through salary projections. So we had a couple of increases in classified and certificated salaries, mainly because of long-term subs for people on leave. We're paying the person on leave sick leave, and we have to bring a sub in to replace them. And then one of the things that the state did do is realize that they went from a 0.05 increase, a 0.05% of payroll for unemployment to a 1.23%. Remember, we had that huge, almost $200,000 increase. Well, they reduced that down to a 0.5. So we did see a savings in the unemployment rate. So the total net with the long-term subs and the unemployment decrease, we're only increasing our expenditures by $34,095. So the net change is a loss of $171,650 to our ending fund balance. Loss of revenue, increased expense, they both reduce our fund balance. So we, at adopted, had an 8.93% reserve. We are projecting an 8.43. It's still in eights, just under 8.5. And then when we, and then it's explained in this page here how that played out. Loss of revenue, we had adjustments in long-term subs, 124,000, 90,000 in the unemployment rate, so a net of 34,000 with a change of 171,650. And then what that does to the multi-year as we rebench the property taxes, and again, this is going to change as I get more information, hopefully. 8.43, 21-22, with a 10.5 and a 14.09. We're still maintaining a pretty high level of reserves, even with that reduced level of property taxes. So that's the October revised budget. I will also let you know that the next update will be the first interim that we bring in December. And that's where we have our real major budget update with all our categoricals, all the grants and all that at their actual allocation.
Thank you for the presentation. Anybody have any other questions? Great. We'll move on to item G4. The board is asked to approve resolution 21-889, the annual report of developer fees. As required by Government Code Section 66001 and 66006, the district is required to deposit all developer fees collected in a separate capital facilities fund, Fund 25, and report on all revenues received and expenses made from that fund. May I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
And a second?
Second?
Andy, this is a roll call?
Aaron.
Aye.
Jamie.
Aye.
Sally.
Aye.
Jamie.
Aye.
I'm aye.
Item G5 is purchase of upgrades to restroom and classroom fixtures, upgrades by Smart and Hatcher Company. May I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second?
Any questions on this item?
Sounds
touchless
great.
Classroom sink. So just basically like these bottle fillers that are out here.
Yeah, so what we're doing, and this is all through the ESSER grant, what we're doing is we're replacing all mouth spouts for drinking fountains with cup fillers, bottle fillers, even in the classrooms. And then we're going to be taking all of the sink fixtures and toilet handles touchless, district-wide. So some of that occurred in the modernization classrooms already, but that's not district-wide, and we're putting those same fixtures district-wide.
So does this number include the installation of all
Nope.
this?
No, so we got a really good price on buying the fixtures. What we're working on now is the installation, and that will be broken up into different projects, because we won't be able to do like the toilets and stuff probably till next summer. So the priority for for me right now is to get the bottle fillers in place, and we're adding 6 more bottle filling stations at the high school, and we're looking at additional places at the middle school to add them. Because we don't have many, we have 1 at the high school.
And will the work be done in-house, or are we hiring out
No,
for that?
we'll have to hire out, because it requires electricity to be brought through the wall, as well as the whole installation of the unit. So one of the things that did come up was, the potential vandalism of the units, and we're buying basically like Army quality.
So what happens to those poor souls who show up on campus with no water bottle or cup?
So
And
we'll
wanna take a
have
drink of water.
cups. We're not going to put cups out because they're just going to end up all over campus. But if students don't have water bottles and they need something to use, we'll make sure they have something available.
So, but I'm talking about visitors, like, there's that 3 or 4 station drinking fountain on the way out to the field right next to the boys' locker room.
Right.
That has been, it's probably the original one, or maybe it's been replaced now. And then there's 2, I noticed there's 2 around the field that have been decommissioned as well. And I understand the idea of having touchless, but I still think we need some that are old-fashioned, push a button or twist a handle.
Not during COVID.
Yeah.
So the touching and the drinking with your mouth at the spout is not going to come back for a long time because of transmissions. So potential transmission. So we really need to rethink the how we're getting water on our campuses. And right now, if a student needs a bottle of water, we're providing a bottle of water. We have bottled water at lunch, but that's a lot of plastic in the waste. So and I think there's a couple of bottle stations that have been decommissioned, and we're looking at, all of those. So, this is 57,
It just seems like a long-term maintenance problem to me too,
the bottle fillers,
Yeah,
less more than the fountains,
really?
really. Fountains are a mess,
Okay.
And does ESSER pay for the installation?
yes.
That's the only reason why we're doing
So
it.
in the ESSER 3 plan, we allocated 200,000 for this purpose. And
Okay.
we'll be under that.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, all of those in favor of this item?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, item H1, the Measure U, is the summary expenditure report as presented to Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, October 18th, 2021. Are you presenting for us again, Maureen?
I'm not gonna, I don't have an overhead for this, but we had a bond oversight committee last Tuesday. At the committee, I shared with the oversight committee the same Measure U update you received as a board. And then I presented, and I do believe it's in the attachment, the last 2 pages, a different format similar to what you get at the board level for warrant lists. They were just sorted by project so that the oversight committee could see what those were applied to. And so we'll move forward with the committee at this with this format. They received it really well. They were very happy to get some clear and concise Measure U information, and it went well.
Great.
Because that's a fairly new group of people, right? There's some older,
Yeah.
some that have
Yeah.
been there, but there's a
Yeah.
larger group that haven't been there.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and you don't need any action item from us, correct? Okay, perfect. We're gonna move on to item H2. The board is asked to approve the contract with Kruger, Benson, Zimmer Architects. The proposal is for services and design of the new CHS campus sign. The architect's total fee for the scope of services is the sum of $28,500. In accordance, it will be paid with Measure U bond funds. I'll take a motion to approve.
Move to approve?
In a second.
I'll second.
All right. Do we have public comment on this tonight?
Excuse me, I have.
Yes, I understand. Monica, we do have public speaking, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Diana, you want to go ahead and first tell us a little bit about this item before we accept the public speaking? Thank you.
I appreciate that. So we are bringing this action tonight because we've invested more than $31 million in modernizing the CHS classrooms, the gym, and the new admin building. The 50-year-old Warrior Head is in deteriorating condition, and we believe that new school signage needs to be addressed. However, we are aware of the controversy associated with removing the Warrior Head, and we had postponed any board discussions about this until the new construction of the admin building, which we're in the process of right now. So tonight, we are recommending that we hire the architect to develop replacement sign designs in conjunction with the new admin building.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Diana or comments on this before we take public speaking? And I know you had a couple emails too that you need to read as well. Do you want to do that first or
Yes,
public speaking?
Monica will read those comments first.
Okay.
Do you want me to start with the emails or with the people present on the meeting?
The comments first.
Okay.
Mr. Wilbrand and Mr.
Yes. So we received 2 emails. One is from Mr. John Woolbrand, and this is what he wrote. The superintendent and president and school board members, thank you for inviting CHS 1970 class president Tom Reimers and I to your meeting this evening. We are unable to attend, but hope that you will delay a vote to spend money on a new sign at the Carpinteria High School until the fate of our gift to the school, including the warrior sculpture, can be included in the proposal. The proposal does not even mention it. I also want to thank you for reading my letter to you at the April 13 meeting. Unfortunately, you have yet to answer my questions in writing. I personally believe that any money that you might spend on a new sign should instead be spent on educating students on the history of First Nation imagery. Would you please allow volunteers to give the warrior head a fresh coat of paint, do a little patching, and consider removing only the informational marquee portion of this beloved monument? Congratulations on the work you have accomplished throughout the school system. Thank you, John Woolbrand. The next one is from Tom Reimers. Good afternoon, Diana and members of the board. I appreciate you sending me the proposal for the new marquee. I care very much for the history of my beloved town and ask you to keep me posted as the proposal moves along. The Carpinteria High School Marquee project of 1970 was a very thoughtful and exciting project that was embraced by the entire town, from the mayor, superintendent of schools, high school principal, and the members of the school board. There were pictures and stories in the local Carpinteria Herald that included most of these Carpinteria leaders. The warrior head was the heart and soul of the project 50 years ago. Any change or modification to this CHS icon must address the future of the warrior head out of respect for the history of Carpinteria. With respect, Tom Reimers, President, Class of 1970, Carpinteria High School.
Great. Thank you, Monica.
And we have 2 members of the audience who wishes to address the board. The first one will be Mr. Rich Medell. Please come to this.
And just as a reminder to our speakers that there's a 3-minute limit. There's a 3-minute limit on speaking. Thank you.
And please turn your microphone on.
We can't see it anymore, yeah.
You hear me? I have to take off my mask, leave it on.
You can take it off.
Well, Rich Medell, I'm a longtime warrior upbringing with my family and all the alumni. I agree with the 2 letters that we received from Reimers and John Woolbrand about the history of what the class of 1970, 50 years ago, put up. I mean, they did it with it was just plain, which seemed to be all right. But then somebody else, another class, I don't know who it was, they came and they painted it and made it a little different. And then Bishop Diego came one year and chopped it all up, so then he had to repair it, and it didn't really come out the same. And I know there are community members that agree and some disagree, but yeah, it probably needs to be refinished and look a lot better. But the history of it is, there's a lot of pride there, and the Native Americans and everything. When you look in this room, you see the Indians here. I mean, it just goes way back. And I just think before you make it a commitment, maybe there should be a committee appointed with alumni, students, some community members, just to get everybody's input to see how we really want it to look. And John mentioned about the cost of it, can we get volunteers or whatever, but and still do a good job. Our goal is to do a good job. And I just want to say that, myself and John are here, but I mean, there's hundreds and thousands, I'm sure, alumni and Warrior fans over the years, and community people that just have that Warrior pride. And I'm going back, and I'll just speak for my family on behalf. You know, my dad was a graduate in 1938, and he established the Booster Club in 1956. And he raised a lot of money and with a lot of community members and for the school district. And he was on the school board from 65 to 73, and I served on from 90 to 94. But, you know, he raised thousands of dollars of support. And when I became Booster Club president back in 77, our leadership, we raised money for the new lights, the new bleachers, memorial fill, improvements, beautification. Dr. Carty was really involved. He was out there painting. And I raised a lot of money in the last several years for football equipment, new football jerseys, football ads, and also my family contributed a lot to the Memorial Field Improvement Project. We're very proud of that. But a lot of people in the community have a lot of pride in the Warriors. I'm the one that established the Warrior Spirit Never Dies, the Warrior Pride. Warrior Athletics, a proud tradition that you see all over the schools. And I'm just concerned now, and I was hearing at first rumors about, oh, they're going to get rid of this and get rid of that. I said, I hope they don't get rid of the signs, because I raised a lot of money for those, and a lot of people contribute, and it just stands out on the campus. It makes it look good when other schools come. So, and I have a concern because when you look on your maintenance vehicles now, you have already made a decision to cut off the Warrior head. So I don't know what inspired that, what's going to be next. So that's why I'm here, and I'm here representing. I get phone calls from alumni and people in the community. And I just wanted to speak before you and back up what John said and Mr. Reimer said, and hopefully we can make a really nice display up there, and maybe even include the C with the Warrior with the feathers and the arrow. Okay, but thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. John Sanchez on the same item.
Thank you for having us. You guys are doing a great job in bringing up the school, and we've been here for a long time. They did need the upgrades, so you're doing a great job. I am here in response to that Warrior head also. As Richie said, a lot of our family members were part of getting Warrior Spirit, and not only that, but we have done quite a bit of the fundraisers and things like that. I was helping with Richie, and he did go ahead and enable a lot of young kids, and that Warrior Spirit Never Dies is something of the heart, and there's a lot of heart that went into all of the art and things that have been put there at the school. We were excited to go there when we were younger, and we're still excited. But seeing some of that, I know that they had to put new paint. I'm not sure if that other mural's going up, but I hope and I pray that they do not remove that Indian head. Back in 2013, they were trying to get rid of the mascots, or all of the Indian imagery. My wife is she's a descendant of the tribe, of the Chumash tribe. My uncle did come. He was a former chief of that tribe, and he was speaking on behalf of himself, but did let everybody know that that imagery was not, it did not go ahead and offend them. And they spent many hours, and I know that that you knew about this, and we just hope that you will go ahead and have this Warrior head. As Richie said, we have some good people to go ahead and make it anew. They can make it look nice and keep it there. Put a memorial around it, but we hope that you will not remove it. And for that fact, any other things here in Carpinteria of the school district, because there are many people, both Native Americans and just the Americans in general, that, I mean, we've grown up with this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and that is it tonight, right, Monica? Yes. All right. Call it me?
Yeah, so know it's a controversial issue. My biggest problem at the moment is the amount of money. You know, I don't think we should be spending $28,000 on a design that'll likely increase, and you know, generally the way things have been going, there's going to be a $75,000 or $100,000 design to build, and I really don't think that now is the time to when we haven't completed we haven't completed a lot of our other projects. So I'm opposed to you know, entering into a contract with KBZ for this, and so I'm gonna vote against it.
I know, me personally, I would rather spend this $28,000 on refurbishing the wire head that we already have. And so I also am opposed to it. Obviously, we need to get some more details on what it would cost to restore it. But at this time, I don't know that's the appropriate time to start looking into this. I don't know if anybody else has any comments on it.
Agreed.
I attend All Saints by the Sea, which is a church in Montecito, and it was built more than 100 years ago. And over the last 3 years, it was completely reconstructed down to the studs, including the bell tower, which was taken stone by stone down and numbered and then rebuilt with reinforcement in it, which it had none before. And if we can completely redo a church and have it look exactly like it was 100 years ago, I think we can take care of that sign as well. And the head.
And one other thing, I think, I know some people are offended by the imagery, but I think the warrior head and a lot of the other Native American imagery that we have in Carpinteria means a lot more, and it develops a lot more sense of pride and community in generations of Carpinterians than the number of people it offends. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to people that are offended by it, but you know, we went through this back in 2010 or 2009, and we had the weigh-in from the Chumash, and I really don't think it's appropriate to go through that again, and especially to spend this amount of money when we have many other projects that are going to directly benefit our students. So, thanks.
All right, any other comments?
I just want to say, I mean, I think we all acknowledge that the spirit in which this was intended when it was created was one of pride and honor. And I don't think anybody is there, or, well, I can't say anybody, but I don't think there are many people that would deny the intent and the spirit behind in which this was done. And people's views do change over time, and the lens in which people view things over time changes, and that's human nature. But I do believe that the intent and spirit in which something is done is important as well. And so even if, I feel like even if it turns out that, I mean, like you were saying, what they're able to do as far as rebuilding and restoring things is amazing. But if it came out that, you know, we needed to move it or something like that, that it would all be done, if maybe somewhere else on campus or whatever is done, that respect be paid to what was done, and, you know, things are photographed and memorialized in a way that allows for what was done to be honored, the spirit and the intent of the class of 1970, that somehow gets memorialized and honored going forward, kind of no matter where this goes down the road, even long term. I think that would be something important that would go a long way with folks around here.
I do have one question. You know, the intention of this item is to develop a new sign. It has nothing really to do with the existing sign that's there. Is there any type of reason that some, you know, school code or anything that we have to have a kind of different sign, or is it just because we're doing admin and we want a bigger sign, or what was the intent behind the new sign? Is it required at all?
No.
Okay, so it's just part of the whole Measure U, let's revamp things kind of a thing.
I think it was, the intent was that we've refurbished all the high school and the sign is deteriorating. And in addition, we did respond 2.5 years ago to the letters asking us to take the sign down, that we would not discuss it at that time, that we would discuss it during the Measure U project in which we're rebuilding the new admin building. Because along with the rebuilding a new admin building, you typically do new signage. You know, it's a part of the project, is to do new signage for your admin building. So that's
Could just
really
refurbish what we have instead.
that's the reason behind. And I don't think it has, it's not related to what the architect would present to us. I mean, there would be all different designs that he would present to the board.
Yeah.
Understanding the background and the history of the Warrior Head.
All right, any other comments? All right, I'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Great, we'll move on to item I1, personnel summary. The board is asked to approve the following recommended personnel items. We have 6 assignments, 5 resignations, 1 retirement, and 1 change in assignment. May I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, we're on to board announcements. Anybody have anything they'd like to share this evening?
Just want to say thank you to all the people that attended the Carpacabuna event at the high school the other night. It was a beautiful night, great costumes, great food, and we greatly appreciate your attendance and your contributions to the Carpentry Education Foundation.
Okay. Anybody else?
I know a few of the schools are doing fundraisers, their fall fundraisers right now. So please support the parent groups who support our students. I know there are access cards, there might be C's candy, other fundraisers. So please support the parent groups at your school site, or if a neighbor's kid comes and says, buy my access book, you know, it goes a long way. It really does help. Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
All right, item K, our board calendar. Anything, Monica?
Sorry, yes. We are going to be having a special board meeting on November 30th. It's an expulsion hearing, and that is going to happen at the district office. So it's on November 30th, that's a Tuesday, and it will be at 5:30 at the district office.
Okay. All right, thank you.
That interferes with my FFA meeting.
All right, and lastly, our future agenda items. We have our single school presentations coming up in the future. If there's nothing else, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
All right.